Many are hoping the NFL will take a look at a new helmet to protect players from head trauma. The league reported 1.6 concussion evaluations per game in 2023. My next guest is Dr. Danisha Lee of Archpoint Pain Institute. He has more information about the Guardian caps created to protect an athlete's head.
Yeah, Isaiah, this is really sad, Isaiah. We're seeing, these rates of concussions and mild traumatic brain injuries skyrocket right now with all the sports going on and all these athletes that are getting hit in the head. To now, Isaiah, we've had just a very standardized hard helmet. And, we've heard that bang when it hits, when one helmet hits another, when they hit another part. And so, there's a direct impact that happens when you or anybody that's playing the sport is involved in a activity like that, and that shakes the brain. And the brain, it gets to a point where we call that a concussion, where just the right amount of that bounce happens, and it hits one side or another. That is what we call a mild traumatic brain injury, or a concussion in this case. And so what we've seen in the last couple of years is there's a company, Guardian Sports, that has demonstrated and come out with something called Guardian caps, which essentially is like a soft helmet that goes in. It reduces the impact when you hit another object or another helmet-to-helmet impact. It reduces the impact that you have there by up to 33%. It doesn't eliminate the chances for concussion. We have nothing really that will eliminate that to this date, but it reduces it just a little bit, where, just recently, Isaiah, we've had multiple deaths related to football players that were injured and they died. And we did autopsies, and 2 out of those 3, Isaiah, were related to head injuries or concussions. And so this is a very serious matter. And I'm hoping that, the NFL looks at this in more schools, more programs, more footballs, even high schools, middle schools, everywhere. We are adapting things to help reduce the chances of concussions, because it's so serious, Isaiah.
And correct me if I'm wrong on this, but you can't really tell the damage that a concussion has done until the autopsy is done, right? And they look at the brain.
No, you can, Isaiah. You can tell by doing imaging studies. There are CTs and MRIs that you can get done that can show that there was a involvement or something happened. Will it tie it to that specific incident? No. But unless we have like a day before that was done and shows the day after, possibly, yes. But imaging studies are what are necessary to prove that. And also symptoms, Isaiah, that dizziness feeling, that headaches, that ringing in the ear, the whole room spinning. All of those are signs and symptoms that, we are looking for when we're out there on the field examining these folks that were injured and involved in concussions.
And of course, I recently talked to a doctor about this as well. And one of the things, he was more concerned about mental health issues as a result of brain injuries, trauma to the brain, from suicidal thoughts to committing suicide.
That's correct, Isaiah. What we know is anytime anything in the brain is involved, whether it be a concussion, whether it be a stroke, whether it be a brain bleed, anything can affect those sorts of things and make it where your symptoms, where you may be forgetting things like dementia and Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, like we've talked about, but also, like you're saying, psychological issues like depression, anxiety, suicide, and some of these symptoms you may have never had. So yes, this is all very alarming, and I'm hopeful the NFL and even the high schools, the middle schools, wherever these sports are played, they will take this stuff a little bit more serious and really hone down on this, and don't ignore the symptoms of the kids, and don't push these kids either, or even athletes, to the point where they're scared. They're afraid to bring up these symptoms or these points to the doctors, to the coaches, to their family members. Like, these are discussions that we should be having with our athletes and with our students regularly.
And what's key from this manufacturer is, what will the cost be? Will it be cost prohibitive for the NFL. Obviously, the NFL makes billions of dollars, but they could make a case like we are not going to pay that much for a helmet. And of course, you have to worry about the costs in the public education system and private education system as well. But we'll see. Obviously, there is some light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to concussions, at least a minor amount of protection. So we want to thank you, Dr. Ali. Always good to see you here on the Factor Uncensored.